Hey, we're here live at the Stand Up for Science National Day of Action at the Colorado State Capitol. Seems to be a mixed crowd here, not sure. Looks like mostly pro-vaccine people. A lot of different people hanging around out front of the Capitol. I did see some Trump flags. So let's walk over here and see what people have to say and what's going on.
This one. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
They're all over the state, you know. They're always two people.
When science is undercut, what do we do?
Yeah,
what do we do?
All right, I'm very excited to announce that our next speaker is none other than famed Denver weatherman Mike Nelson. Mike served as a meteorologist for 48 years before retiring in 2024. He worked for over 33 years as a television weather forecaster for Colorado, first for 9 News and then for Denver 7. He has won 20 Emmy Awards and is the only meteorologist in the Denver Press Club Hall of Fame. Mike has spent countless hours sharing his knowledge on weather for Colorado students and outreach clubs. He is also the author of multiple books on weather and climate, including the world's littlest book on climate, which we have at these tables up front. Come grab one. Let's hear it for Mike Nelson.
Thank you, Luca, and good afternoon, everybody. Pleasure to be here. Lovely day today. So nice to get a little snow from this. I know that a few of our rally members might be up taking some turns, but I know that we have a lot of support out there as well. A couple of quick things. My book is at the front table. It is the world's littlest book on climate change, 10 facts in 10 minutes about carbon dioxide. Our goal in writing this, and the co-author was Dr. Peter Tons, who ran the lab at Mauna Loa. He knows more about atmospheric carbon than just about anybody in the world, was to make a short, easy to understand book, proof of the fact that I had it read by my then 8-year-old grandson, who said, yeah, Grandpa, this makes complete sense. We want people that wouldn't necessarily pick up Michael Mann's beautiful work, but might pick up one like this and spend 10 minutes. If you have a book, a hard copy, that QR code means anybody else can download a free download. And the QR code is also at the front counter, so you can just get an electronic copy if we run out of printed ones. Also, we have these really great magnets up at the front counter that says I stand for science. And if you go to the website istandfor.co, you can make it stand for I stand for love, I stand for NCAR, whatever you want it to be. We have hoodies, shirts, buttons, magnets, so check those out as well. It's my honor to be here today. 1 year ago, when I spoke at the Stand Up for Science rally, we were only a few weeks into the Trump administration and the terrible early days of Project 2025. Our fears were that they meant implementing most, if not all, of the ugly and regressive policies. Our hopes were that maybe they would not be so destructive. Sadly, they were telling the truth about their goals. Truth. That's something that's very, very rare in this current administration. 1 year later, NREL has been renamed and reduced. NCAR is slated to be dismantled, and our public universities are under attack. Our local news media is likely going to be owned primarily by one corporation beholden to Trump and the FCC, with the rest being owned by a very complicit CBS network. Sad and scary times indeed. If that merger between Nexstar and Tegna goes through, do not expect to hear much about climate change on Fox 31, 9 News, or their sister stations. Since my retirement a year and a half ago, there's already very little mention of climate change in any of the local weather reports. And I say to my former broadcast meteorology colleagues, do not be afraid to teach your viewers about the science of our warming world. In a 3-minute weathercast, there is time to mention the impact of increasing carbon dioxide and methane. I did it often, and you can too. If you have time to give an hour-by-hour walk the dog or brunch forecast in your weathercast, you have time to help your viewers understand climate change. Besides, they can already get that hour-by-hour forecast on their phone. So use your platform to provide your viewers the facts about climate change. Weathercasters, when you visit schools, please continue to teach the children about tornadoes and severe weather safety, but add some information about climate change too. It's simple to do. Carbon dioxide is invisible just like oxygen. We breathe it in and out all the time. But every little molecule of carbon dioxide acts like a tiny little blanket, trapping heat that would otherwise escape into outer space, warming up the planet. That didn't take me very long to say. When we burn gasoline in a car or coal in a power plant, we add more carbon dioxide to the atmosphere, making the blanket thicker and making the world get warmer. Add heat, get warmer. Parents, teachers, you can teach this really well, and let's teach more civics, because my goodness gracious, we need to have our young people have a better understanding that all of the things are connected. So I've given you some really depressing stuff. We got Trump, Project 2025, the attacks on our research facilities. It's the bleak future for our local media. But there is good news and hope for all of us. We are just 8 months from the midterms. It can be a return to sanity and accountability. We must do all we can to support candidates that understand the value of sound science and support policies and institutions that promote and enhance the development of technologies that will electrify our future while cutting greenhouse gas emissions. We are seeing tremendous advances in battery technology. Several companies are working on a 100-hour storage battery that will bridge the gap between cloudy or windless days and make our power grid more stable and secure. We are seeing huge amounts of utility-scale solar being built. A fair amount here in Colorado, massive amounts in California, the world's fourth largest economy, and in the red state of Texas. Not just because it's good for the planet, but because it's good business. Hear there. And solar energy costs have tumbled in the last 20 years from over $350 per megawatt hour to less than $60 per megawatt hour. In contrast, coal-fired power costs about $120 per megawatt hour, and nuclear costs about $150. By the year 2035, solar energy is likely to cost between $15 to $20 per megawatt hour. Coal and nuclear energy will still cost about the same as they do right now. Not to mention the threats from terrorism, and what are we going to do with that nuclear waste? Nobody wants to live near a nuke. And you know this one? We know about NIMBY. Have you ever heard of the term banana? Banana is an acronym for build absolutely nothing anywhere near anything. During the next decade, large-scale battery storage will continue to improve and become far cheaper. Stored electricity is a game changer, not unlike the invention of modern agriculture. Early mankind had to hunt, forage, and move around to survive. When we discovered that crops could be planted, harvested, and stored, modern civilization began. Our future will be changed by being able to store and dispatch electricity. Batteries will become the grain silos of the modern electrified world. It's coming, folks, and right now China is winning the race by a mile. We are not out of the race yet, but to catch up, we need leadership that understands the moment and the opportunity. Right now, we are being led by some of the brightest minds of the 19th century. I mean, Coley, the mascot that Doug Burgum plans to increase coal production and keep antiquated coal plants running? Or how about Chris Wright's cherry-picked panel of quote-unquote climate experts that put out that pseudoscience about climate change, all bought and paid for by the fossil fuel industry? The current level of CO2 in our atmosphere is about 430 parts per million, according to the lab on Mauna Loa, another facility under threat by the Trump administration. When I was born in 1957, the level of CO2 was 315 parts per million. That was the year that Charles Keeling began tracking CO2, the famous Keeling curve. We have seen a 50% increase in CO2 since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, with 25% of that in the last 70 years. This crisis is coming at us like a speeding train, and the Trump administration would like that train to be coal-powered. Sometimes climate change skeptics like to point out that, hey, Mike, CO2 is just a trace gas. How can that make such a big difference? Well, here's a few stats according to ChatGPT. Carbon dioxide is 0.04% of the atmosphere. Incidences of voter fraud in the United States amount to 0.0001% of all votes cast. Clearly, the Republican Party has their priorities upside down. I am part of a think tank called the American Energy Initiative. You can find our website at arday.net. That's AREDAY.net to learn more about our mission. Our goal is to build the American supergrid, a high-voltage, direct current, underground interstate highway for electricity. Research has shown, and it was done right up at NOAA in Boulder, that on a large enough scale, a continental scale, it is always sunny or windy somewhere. We can generate the power to electrify everything in this country with a combination of wind, solar, battery storage, and decarbonized gas turbine backup. And we can stop burning fossil fuels. We can do this not for our needs of today, but for the year 2050. Electrify everything in the economy if we can move the renewable energy from source to need. All of this research was done by NOAA scientists, including my friend, he led the entire research project, Dr. Alexander Sandy McDonald. And they ran thousands of simulations on supercomputers. By the way, the same supercomputers that the current administration wants to dismantle and sell outside of Cheyenne, Wyoming. Pure boo. Here's what the supergrid is. 40,000 miles of buried high voltage direct current transmission lines. The thing's about that big around. And these transmission lines will stretch from coast to coast and run from the Gulf of Mexico all the way to Canada. Putting them underground is initially more expensive, but cheaper in the long run for the following reasons. Number one, NIMBY. Nobody likes to look at overhead wires, so there'll be less public opposition and fewer costly, lengthy lawsuits. Number two, security. Underground lines are much less impacted by winds and wildfires and severe storms. They are also better shielded from terrorist attacks or solar flares. And number three, efficiency. High voltage direct current has much less line loss over long distances compared to alternating current. There are over 2.5 million miles of buried gas and oil pipelines crisscrossing the United States. You see those little warning signs all the time. Caution, buried gas line. Imagine if those 2 to 4 foot diameter pipes were all 6 feet above the ground. Big, ugly, and filled with nasty stuff that can leak or explode. But because they are underground, we don't even think about them. Out of sight, out of mind. Our proposal for the supergrid is just 5% of the miles of infrastructure currently in place for the transport of fossil fuel. It would be a $2 trillion investment in the future, and it would be a major job creator and a transformational project, safeguarding our nation and ensuring that we have affordable energy while greatly lowering greenhouse gas emissions. China is already doing it. Now, much of their high voltage technology is above ground, but they are rapidly adding massive amounts of renewable energy and transmission, dwarfing our efforts here in the United States. Last year, China added 315 gigawatts of solar energy, giving that nation a cumulative power of 1,200 nuclear reactors, all from solar, all built in the past 10 years. They're still burning coal, but China's fast on their way to becoming the first electro-state on this planet. And the country that electrifies their economy by 2050 will be the world's superpower. Under our current leadership in Washington, we are losing the race and we are running out of time. Those little wimpy car horns think they can beat out my voice. Not going to happen, folks. There have been two great American infrastructure projects in our nation's history. They were expensive in their day, but transformative in their impact. The Transcontinental Railroad, signed into law by Republican President Abraham Lincoln, and the Interstate Highway Act, signed into law by Republican President Dwight Eisenhower. Neither of those projects bankrupted our country. Both created great wealth and prosperity by improving transportation. The American supergrid should be the next great infrastructure project. We can fuel our future with renewable energy and battery storage. Every 5 days, the sun provides as much energy than all of the fossil fuel reserves combined. Every 5 days. An area the size of the Texas Panhandle could supply all the solar energy needed to power everything in the United States. All the AI, the crypto, the communications, the transportation, everything. Not for today, but for the year 2050. Now, we don't advocate paving the Panhandle in panels. I have friends in Amarillo, they might not like that. But it's distributing just that size. That's just 20 million acres of land scattered all across the country. And we can do all of this without having to light fossil fuel on fire to fuel our economy. Distributing the wind and solar is sensible if we connect it together with a modern, efficient, and secure grid. We can not only decarbonize, but advance our society and safeguard our nation. Seems to me that's pretty bipartisan stuff right there. Building the supergrid will also be a huge opportunity for farmers and ranchers in Colorado and across the nation. According to NREL, it takes about 5 acres of solar panels to generate 1 megawatt of electricity. At the current price of $60 per megawatt, that means an acre of solar panels can create $50,000 worth of electricity each year. By comparison, an acre of corn is worth about $1,000. Look at it another way, an acre of corn will produce enough ethanol to drive a gas-powered truck for 25,000 miles. An acre of solar panels will produce enough electricity to power an electric truck for 700,000 miles. Growing electricity makes money. I mean, talk about green energy. The author, Bill McKibben, has written a wonderful new book called Here Comes the Sun. It's a very good read and offers some very hopeful messages. For the first time since we identified the climate crisis 50 years ago, we now have the answer. Low-cost renewable energy and battery storage. We just need the super grid to move that electricity from source to need. McKibben was recently quoted saying, "It's going to be hard to figure out how to fight wars over sunshine." As you evaluate candidates in the coming months, ask them about their views on climate change and energy, and ask them about the super grid. If they don't know what that is, tell them to contact Mike Nelson or the American Energy Initiative at ourday.net. Gaylord Nelson, the founder of Earth Day, said, "When it is asked, what will it cost to protect our environment? One more question should be asked. What will be the cost to our society if we do not?" When he accepted the Democratic nomination for president in 1960, John F. Kennedy observed, "Our problems are man-made, therefore they can be solved by man. No problem of human destiny is beyond human beings." Leadership matters, and the current crew in Washington is really screwing it up. Their goal is to flood the zone with so much chaos, cruelty, and corruption that it leaves us hopeless, feeling powerless, and that we will give up. We must not give up. I will leave you with the words from the American anthropologist Margaret Mead. Never doubt that a small group of concerned citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. Thank you.
Of Iowa, so join in when you got it. 3.14 fun science, not war. 1, 5, 9, 2. Without science, we're all screwed. 3.
1-4, fight science, not war. 5-9-2, science rules food. Keep your carbon in the soil. Carbon, no more carbon. Keep your carbon in the soil. No more oil. Keep your carbon in the soil. No more oil. Keep your carbon in the soil.
All right. Our next speaker, Jessie Hansen, is a board-certified medical laboratory scientist who has spent years of her career working for the VA Medical Center and as a frontline essential healthcare worker during the darkest days of the pandemic. She has also worked for the past 10 years coaching scientists of all disciplines in public communication skills through stand-up comedy. Give it up for Jessie!
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I am happy to say that after 10 full years of marching and chanting, that is a brand new chant that I have never heard before. So kudos to Luca and team for bringing that out into public. So thanks for coming out here today, folks. Like I said, my name is Jessie Hansen. I've spent the last 10 years or so not just marching and chanting, but working with a group called Science Riot. You can find us at scienceriot.org. And our mission is to promote public engagement with science by teaching real-life scientists how to do stand-up comedy about their real-life research work. If you're interested in finding out more, go talk to our director, who is Dr. Taylor in the green. Give a wave there, Taylor. But I'm not here today to talk strictly about the amazing work that we do with that organization. I'm here representing my own self as a frontline healthcare worker, and I want to talk about the myriad atrocities that are being done to our public health and our health research systems. I could talk about the thousands of scientists and staff that have been laid off by the Health and Human Services. I could talk about defunding prestigious labs that are advancing cancer research. I could talk about the egregious failure to extend ACA subsidies that millions of Americans rely on to have any access to any health care whatsoever. And all of this is happening under the watch of an absolute lunatic scion with no medical training who is most famous for snorting cocaine off of toilet seats. I don't have time to dive into all of those details, and I will speak today on the one thing that's closest to home for me, and that's vaccines. As Luca mentioned, I was working as a frontline essential healthcare worker in the darkest days of the pandemic, and I don't say that for applause, it's just context. There are thousands of us who went through that. But think back and remember how terrifying and confusing those days were. Remember that none of us knew what to do to keep ourselves safe. And then remember what brought us back out of those days. It wasn't hand washing, it wasn't social distancing, although those things helped. What brought society back to life was vaccines. It was the revolutionary technology of mRNA vaccines that was the silver bullet that stopped COVID in its tracks, that emptied out those ICUs from those patients on ventilators, and it gave us a way to return to work and to school and to society. That one COVID vaccine alone has saved millions of lives, and not to mention prevented the complete economic collapse that was being brought about by a paralyzed society. And I can say with confidence that HHS's decisions to reduce vaccine recommendations for many critical and life-saving vaccines, including those against hepatitis and cancer-causing HPV, will not cause just illness and death to countless vulnerable babies, children, and adults across our nation and beyond. RFK Jr.'s insidious campaign to undermine trust in vaccines and the vaccine research and approval process is an immediate threat to our public health and safety. The next pandemic will arrive. It's not a matter of if, but when. We need to be prepared as a nation, and that preparedness will rely heavily on vaccine technology and our trust in healthcare systems. So with that in mind, I would like to name an unlikely ally in our fight for public health and safety. RFK Jr.'s brain worm. Yeah, remember that little guy? Yeah, he's still around. That parasite that RFK says ate part of his brain and is still inside his head? I say we enlist that for the resistance. Yeah, let's get that worm on our side and he can ratatouille that grizzled chunk of Kennedy jerky around. So here's what I say to the resistance worm. Keep it up. I can only assume, Mr. Worm, that it's your influence that's already resulted in the behaviors we see Mr. Kennedy hurtling towards self-assured destruction in his Freudian death drive. That drinking raw milk with a payload of fecal bacteria? That's you, Wormy, isn't it? Lingering in airports while not being vaccinated? I see you working, Worm. The eating nothing but red meat that's either charred or raw? That's the worm, playing the long game towards a cardiac arrest. The submerging in a sewage-contaminated creek? That's the worm. Wearing denim jeans in a sauna? That's worse than skiing in jeans. And so, in the service of public health, I would like to offer this brain worm a few more suggestions for what he could do with RFK. Number one, let's try some base jumping. Right, Mr. Worm? Send that imbecile off a cliff in a squirrel suit and just see what happens. Next up, let's get some snake handling in here. RFK loves a weird animal. Let's get him in with some snakes. Get him hyped up on weird religion and send him in there to fondle some vipers. Final suggestion, Mr. Brainworm. Let's do one more throwback to the pandemic days. Most of the big cats from the Tiger King show ended up here in Colorado at the Wild Animal Sanctuary. Let's buy RFK a day pass to that sanctuary, give him a little prompt to jump over the fence and pet those big kitties, and let's see what happens when he tries to grab that pussycat. Thank you.
We're going to have another speaker in a minute, but I just want to say that we have a bunch of flyers up here that you can pass around, QR codes. Come, sign our petitions, call your representatives, talk to our dear friends over here about the issues. NCAR, NREL, RFK Jr. Come let them know.
show up.
terrified.
And the guy's like, oh, what happened?
Hi. I'm just getting the first science.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I just had a couple questions I was going to ask you.
Alright, so
Oh, awesome. Who are you with?
I'm with 1A Media Group.
I'll be here.
So we're at 1amediagroup.com.
first we're gonna start with our last name. I don't.
First name is Jessie, Jessie.
We're just live right now, so we're trying to get some of what was going on.
Awesome. Well, if
Oh,
you
I
have
mean
any
like
questions about
Dr.
Maggie Kirchhoff, I'm the media liaison for this event, or I'm supposed to be, and still learning what that looks like.
What are you doing
A
here?
national organization, and we're hoping to be hosting more events and collaborating with different nonprofits in the state as well.
Oh, perfect. Well, yeah, I just heard about this today, so I figured I'd try to pop out and live stream it and get some questions. Yeah, we had some viewers. It's kind of went down a little bit. We're at 16 now. But yeah, the chat's got going. We'd like to get a little secondary B-roll footage too. So
Inevitably
appreciate
arise
you.
in the future.
Any choice words for the current administration, like they were doing with the car and everything?
They're shooting themselves in the foot.
Where's 1A media?
They cannot take away the tools we have to manage our changing climate and expect us to survive as a society or even as a species. Taking away the very things we need.
Yeah, no, they're making a big deal. Like, how are you taking away some things that you're
Oh no, it's just like on the web and check. So if you put in.
Oh, I wasn't sure if I could link to your.
Oh yeah, it will. When you go to that, it'll link right to the YouTube.
Particularly with the gerontocracy that we have, a lot of these people are old.
We aren't on
70s,
Instagram.
80s. I think it's harder for people of that demographic to grasp what's actually happening with climate change. I think it's a little more tangible to those of us under that age demographic because we've seen it unfold more in our lifetimes. And those people are going to die not that far in the future. And they should be more concerned with the world their kids and their grandkids are inheriting. They don't seem to be.
How does this make you feel when you're like, we should be the street, but even
So I spoke at this rally last year. We were on the opposite side of the Capitol, but it was packed. We had many hundreds of people show up. So
Okay.
our crowd isn't bigger. I think it's probably everyone's tired. We've been doing this for a long time. We protested really hard last year, and a lot of really bad things still happen. And it's hard to hesitate, but we need to. That's why we're doing this.
anything else I might have missed, anything from the off the top of your head?
We're all on because we believe in this country, and we're not going to let bad things happen to it without a fight.
Is it not going on?
Courage of our
You can go to
encourage other
YouTube.
viewers to find the way that works for them, to plug in
1A underscore media.
science, for policies that
Thank you.
are moving for science.
I think it yourself.
Usually I have a card.
What's up?
Oh.
Thank you so
I
much.
just had a quick question. So could you here? Let me see here. Test. So could you tell us a little bit more about your comedy and how that's helped you in this endeavor, in this protest, and your activism?
Yeah, absolutely. So I work with a program called Science Riot. You can find us at scienceriot.org.
Yeah.
Which is on Paradise.
Right, for sure.
And we think that comedy is a really, really powerful tool to use in science communication.
Anyway, I just want to say hi.
The tools of comedy are the same as any good communication, which is brevity, clarity, truthfulness, making it real, making it personal, avoiding jargon, using words that the audience is going to understand and resonate with. So if we can grab those tools out of comedy and put them into science communication, then we've really amped up the value of science communication and made it accessible to a layperson audience. And I'm proud about the even more than that, we've made it fun, right? Like no one wants to engage with something that's boring. So we can make it enjoyable and fun for people to learn about science and then hopefully it's better understanding and a more comprehensive support for the ways that science has evolved in our daily lives.
Absolutely. So we heard a lot about you giving credit to the vaccine for getting us through the pandemic, and I just wanted to talk to you a little bit more about that. And what would you have to say to people that are in opposition that feel that there was no protection against transmission or getting it or transmitting it, and they found this out after the mandate had already been imposed. Do you think that vaccine mandates are important, and if so, how did you feel about Operation Warp Speed?
I do think vaccine mandates are important because they keep all of us safe. You know, if we make it really easy to opt out of vaccines that are proven to be safe and effective and really important to keeping our public health intact, then we've given people a way to make society less healthy and less safe for everybody. And that's part of living in society.
All right.
Like, we all
We have
take
another
hits and we all
exciting
work
speaker
together
for
and
you. Dr. Holly Olivarez, speaker is an ocean biogeochemist at the University Corporation for Atmospheric Research, or UCAR, who investigates future impacts to our climate system that depend on what choices humanity makes. Holly is a first-generation mixed-race scholar who works to use her position, lived experiences, and identities to communicate climate and justice in accessible ways. She says that systemic change happens when people come together, and that bringing humanity into science is key.
So
Let's give it up for
when
Dr.
Operation Warp Speed
Olivarez.
approved experimental use authorization, do you feel like once everybody had already got the vaccine and they said it did not protect it against transmitting it or spreading it, that maybe some people felt a little cheated on the science in the end?
I think there's pretty strong data that says it did work very effectively to prevent both acquiring the disease and transmitting it to others. So if someone has a problem with that data, I think that goes largely into their belief system and whether or not they're willing to believe official data. A contributing factor, but kind of a different question. Like the vaccine itself is very well established to be safe.
The best part is that we're all
And do you believe that, along with those mandates, that emergency use authorization mandates are ethical?
our habitat.
I think that depends on what the data shows.
Absolutely. And where can people find you again?
ScienceRight.org.
ScienceRight.org. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Accountable not only to us, but to our habitat, and those most harmed by the current structure of policies and norms. Our current systems and social
I
norms
don't, but you can
got
check
us
us
where
out
we are
at
today. Breaking
1amediagroup.com
those down
or
is a sense of our
YouTube
habitat
at 1a_media. We go out, we live stream these things a lot. We go out to all the
So how do we do that? The answer is right in front of us in our day-to-day lives.
We're going to
We
again tomorrow.
recognize and we
We're
honor
going
the
to try to
leadership
cover as
of
much as we can. We
indigenous
just come out and
caretakers
talk to people,
and the
live
wisdom
stream,
of
try to get
living in
people uncomfortable
reciprocity
with what's
with the
going on.
land,
You know,
water,
it comes out,
air,
kind of
and
cuts it up.
ocean.
But we like to show people what's going on live and then also talk to people on top of it. So that's kind of where we're coming from. Just supporters
We
of the
also
First
lift
Amendment.
up the
Thank you.
voices and the presence of Black voices where we live, where we go to school. You too, dinosaur. Why do I think this is the answer? Because not only do Indigenous and Black communities who are hit hardest by the consequences of climate change have lived experiences and answers of what to do, how to adapt, how to cope, they're also already in community, taking care of each other, adapting, coping. And this is how we get through this. And another thing we can do, speak up. I stand here as testimony today that you have permission to use your voice and your position to influence systemic change and social norms that are rooted in equity, shaped by lived experience, and guided by shared values. We are breaking down the barriers to the so-called ivory tower so that those with lived experiences can co-create pathways for systemic change. By amplifying voices too often excluded from decision-making, we help shift power to those, toward those that are on the front lines of climate impacts. And what I'm saying applies to all aspects of science and non-science. Take a look around you, at work, at home, at school. Scout ways to amplify those from excluded groups. Admit to yourselves that the least polluters are often not in positions to change policies that perpetuate inequities.
And yet they're also the ones who have and are already caring for one another and adapting. What the rest of us need to do is listen. Listen to understand, and then collaborate to act. I think we can do this. How about you? And speaking of where you live, today is a good day to organize those on your street so you can care for one another as things escalate around us. Some advice that was recently given to me was to spend a little time in my front yard instead of my backyard. And what happened was I started conversing with my neighbors. And we started organizing. We started talking about how things are escalating and how even if something happens far away, it can destabilize our local government. It's not the last time we're going to see the grocery stores empty. Let's converse with the people who are closest to us in proximity. It's safe to say we all feel that things are escalating, and talking with others about it can get us out of that feeling of being paralyzed. And I'm serious when I say organizing your neighbors is critical. We take care of each other. And finally, I want to acknowledge those that have been impacted by layoffs, furloughs, and uncertainties, who work for the institutions that do work that benefits us all. And by that I mean my colleagues at the National Center for Atmospheric Research, or NCAR, the National Weather Service, or NWS, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, and the National Laboratory of the Rockies, formerly NREL, among others. There's more. Their work is critical and non-negotiable, and the attacks by the current government administration to dismantle their work is evidence that the old model is not the answer. So I say it again, human first, connection first. The small things are the little things. Shift the narrative to our habitat and those who are living in reciprocity with it. Amplify the voices of Black and Brown and Indigenous people in your everyday lives, from the grocery store to the person sitting next to you at work. It relieves frustration, the feeling of paralyzation, and it instead gets you into motion because you're using your position to remove the barriers that keep those with critical solutions into the forefront. Tap into justice work. Tap into organizing. Not to lead, but to learn and participate. And you'll quickly feel things shift when you work outside of your current bubble. You find it empowering, joyful, liberating, and you're in reciprocity with those who are consistently excluded. So here is your invite. Join us. Thank you for being here today. Join us. Let's keep this going. I speak today as a solo human and not any employer, human first, and finally, land back and free Palestine. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Olivarez. Woo! Real quick, is Brittany here? And if so, can you come up to the tables? Thank you.
This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
He said his piece.
Go to a protester.
There you go. Yes,
He's like, this is fun.
I'm impressed.
He's like,
All right, Denver, we have one more speaker for you. Britney West is an air pollution scientist working in the state of Colorado, where ground level ozone continues to put the state in non-attainment by the EPA. She is deeply concerned about the direction the EPA has shifted since the Trump administration took office in 2025. Please let me introduce Britney West.
Hello, Denver. Okay. Okay, so I've never done this before. Bear with me here. Okay, Mother Earth has a limited supply of soil, water, and clean air. Centuries will pass before more of these essential elements will be renewed, and as a citizen of the world, I am concerned. The EPA was established in 1970 under a Republican administration. Its purpose was to consolidate federal pollution control programs into one agency. There was no party partisanship in its establishment.
Yes.
It was created because of growing public concern over air, water, and soil pollution. Those essentials that are not easily renewable but are constantly under attack by this administration and are the source of sustainability for all life on Earth, not just humans.
Yeah.
The purpose of the EPA was to tackle issues of deteriorating city, polluted waterways, and hazardous waste. At the time of its establishment, public awareness about dangerous pollutants was on the rise. Rachel Carson had published the bestseller Silent Spring. Her warning, pesticides were not saving cropland, but instead were threatening to wipe out entire ecosystems. The Cuyahoga River in Cleveland had spontaneously burst into flames in 1969 because of flammable organic pollutants that were indiscriminately dumped into the river from industrial waste. The LA basin had become so choked with air pollutants that there were now more days than not where local mountain ranges to the north and east were totally blinded from view. As an air pollution scientist, this is what I know to be true. We are starting to experience similarly dangerous levels of air pollutants here in Denver. There have been several administrations since that time. The immediate focus of the EPA's mission, but its core agency remained. It has been an agency whose purpose has remained the same: serve the public good and protect our fragile environment, not just for the benefit of humans, but to maintain an ecosystem that has survived in harmony for millions of years. Humans threaten this ecosystem. It won't be the Earth that will be destroyed if we are not more aware, but it will be our race and innocent wildlife. Mother Earth has shown over hundreds of millennia that species who overpopulate are subject to self-destruction. The EPA has been an agency with two major divisions, one for enforcement and one for research. Research has served as the backbone of this agency in better regulating pollutants of greater concern. For half a century, it survived and has made significant progress, decreasing levels of dangerous pollutants in our air and water so that we can live better, at least until this administration took over. This evil and destructive administration has drastically cut funding for research that has monitored our air and water for decades. These cuts were made under the guise of saving money, but in reality, it was for the benefit of rich corporations. Reports were leaked prior to this election that Trump readily took bribes from the oil and gas industry, and in return, he promised to loosen regulations for oil and gas. So instead of concentrating on renewable industries, he has changed the focus to drilling for more of these finite energy sources at the cost of the environment. Even worse, he's trying to revive the use of coal, the dirtiest of all energy sources. These energy sources produce pollutants dangerous to human health, including particulate matter designated as PM 2.5 and other pollutants such as ozone. Previous estimates of imposed regulations in years past have shown that more than 230,000 lives were saved because of these regulations. Revisions are being made regarding economic benefits to Americans, and the newly revised benefits are purposely biased to pave the way for additional drilling of oil and gas instead of considering cost benefits of sustainable energy sources. Human life and respect for our fragile ecosystems is not on the administration's radar. Lee Zeldin, a man with no scientific background, is single-handedly changing the mission of the EPA. Its purpose is no longer to address deteriorating city air, polluted waterways, and hazardous waste, but instead he has stated the EPA will lower the cost of buying a car, heating a home, and running a business. This is not the mission of the EPA. What agency is left to protect our environment? We must fight back. Otherwise, our non-renewable natural resources will be lost. Oh, and release the Epstein files.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to all of our speakers. Thank you to everyone that helped organize this. Yeah, I'm so glad you all showed up. It really means so much. And keep it up. We are going to walk to the bottom of these steps by the road, and we're going to do chants for a few minutes. And then I hope to see you all around in Stand Up for Science, at other protests. And yeah, let's head down there, and I hope you all have a great day. Follow us at Stand Up for Science and at Stand Up for Science Colorado on Instagram. Also, we still have flyers. Come grab them and fill out petitions. Call your reps. Thank you.
All right, everyone, right this way. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. All right, now, when science is under attack, what do we do? When healthcare is under attack, what do we do? Sorry, everyone ignore that. All right, when human rights are under attack, what do we do? When working people are under attack, what do we do? When our democracy is under attack, what do we do? When our institutions are under attack, what do we do? When working people are under attack, what do we do? When your scientists are under attack, what do we do? Sorry, I want, you get like 3 hours of sleep and your brain doesn't work sometimes, but that's right. Woo! All right. Let's do, where was it? There was a good one earlier. Oh, yeah. No more coal, no more oil. Keep your carbon in the soil.
No more coal, no more oil.
Keep your carbon in the soil. No more coal, no more oil. Keep your carbon in the soil. No more coal, no more oil. Keep your carbon in the soil. Woo! Money
Yeah,
for
if you haven't
research
already,
and
go ahead and hit that
education,
like
not
and
for
subscribe
greedy
button so we can keep
corporations.
coming out
Money
here
in research
and showing this
and
stuff to you live
education, not
firsthand,
for greedy
uncut. Thanks for
corporations.
tuning in.
Money for
This is
research
First
and
Amendment Media.
education, not for greedy corporations. Money for research and education, not for greedy corporations.
We're here in Denver, Colorado today, out front of the Colorado State Capitol at the Stand Up for Science rally and march. That's in Denver, Colorado, right outside of the Colorado State Capitol. Thanks for tuning in.
Because we do the math in our head. Isn't that gorgeous? That's amazing. And so we'll just, I guess there's some wrong ones. All right. When the United States of America is under attack, what do we do? When scientists are under attack, what do we do? When the healthcare in our country is under attack, what do we do? The health institutions are under attack, what do we do? Woo! All right.
So we're out here at the Support the Science rally and march. Well, I guess it's not a march, it's more of a rally. But they did march down here to the bottom of the stairs, and they're here protesting and demonstrating out front of Colfax over here in Denver, Colorado. And if you could hit that like and subscribe button, because I'm still figuring out what's going on here today. We kind of popped out here today, so we're learning together. But we like to come out and live stream these types of events that you don't see mainstream media at, so you can see it firsthand and make a decision for yourself about what they're saying.
Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Woo! Woo!
help. We need science. We need help. We will not bow down to wealth. We need science. We need help. We will not bow down to wealth. We need science. We need help. We will not bow down to wealth.
Very nice.
This crap is totally whack. This crap is totally whack.
So yeah, if you were tuned in, they talked a little bit about renewable energy, a little bit about fossil fuels, vaccination, and climate change. So we tuned into what they had to say. We did get to speak with one of the people that was up there about Operation Warp Speed and their view on mandating experimental use authorization vaccines. I think it's a very interesting topic, and you know, apparently the consensus isn't out on the science, because it sounded like she was saying that these vaccines did protect against catching it and transmitting it. And, you know, I believe that that was settled, that they did not protect against that. And there's a lot of people that felt cheated that took this experimental vaccine to stop the spread. So yeah, if you're there in the chat, what is your view on Operation Warp Speed, emergency use authorization vaccines, and the COVID vaccine, which specifically was touted as something that would stop the spread, and then turned out it didn't protect against contraction or transmission, from what I'm hearing. So if you have any comments about that, go ahead and leave them in the chat. If you haven't, hit that like and subscribe button.
RFK has got to go, hey, hey, whoa, whoa. RFK has got to go, hey, hey, whoa, whoa. RFK has got to go, hey, hey, whoa, whoa. RFK has got to go. I don't like that man. I don't like that man. Not one bit.
I see a very good world for my children, my future generation. What brought y'all to
You get to level 3? Okay, I'm going to start a repeat after me, all right? I'm going to say, we want science, we want facts, and you guys are going to say, we won't stand for these attacks, all right? All right. Yeah. We want science, we want facts.
We won't stand for these attacks.
We want science, we want facts.
We won't stand for these attacks.
We want science, we want facts.
We won't stand for these attacks.
We want science, we want facts.
We won't stand for these attacks.
We want science, we want facts.
We won't stand for these attacks.
We want science, we want facts.
We won't stand for these attacks.
We want science, we want facts.
We won't stand for these attacks.
We want science, we want facts.
We won't stand for these attacks.
Woo!
Oh no! I guess I'll be better than that. There we go. In the meantime, but the asteroid didn't come in, right, guys?
That's the endangerment of dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah, of course.
We're losing our dinosaurs.
So the asteroid hasn't happened yet, right? Okay. That's okay.
When
Oh, okay.
steer clear of the Yucatan Peninsula. Yucatan is a dinosaur. That's a very southern Yucatan Peninsula. Well, that's probably how I learned it.
Yeah, we're out here in Denver, Colorado, and this is the Support the Science rally. So basically they talked about vaccines, climate change, global warming, renewable energy, a couple other things. But we just wanted to come out here today and live stream to see what they were talking about. We talked to some people about Operation Warp Speed and emergency use authorization of vaccines. We'll go ahead and post that interview if you didn't already see it. And if you haven't, hit that like and subscribe button so we can continue to come out here and do this. You've seen quite a few different types of people out here. It looks like it's a mixed bag, but for the most part, a lot of people who hate Donald Trump, a lot of people who are saying that they don't like RFK Jr. They've had some not so nice words to say other than that. But if you go back and you review our live stream, you'll see exactly what was said. Hit that subscribe button so you can see when we come out here and get notified. Thanks.
We will not bow down to wealth. We want science. We want health. We will not bow down to wealth. We want science. We want health. We will not bow down to wealth. We want science. We want health. We will not bow down to wealth.
I can't. Family. Oh, they might be pretty unrelated issues. I'm a scientist. Children need heroes.
Looks like there may be a counter protest coming.
Easy, he already licks it.
Yeah, we're there.
Well, maybe not a counter protest, but an Epstein protest, it looks like. Release the Epstein files. We're seeing children are in cages, possibly anti-ICE protest right across the street here in Denver, Colorado.
I would never, I might have thought about behind that thing underground. I would never want to anyone ever know I
So there's somebody who said there's one in Longmont. I didn't know that one. I think is I saw this one. That's what.
It shouldn't be exclusive. They're not
They got him his money. They got him his